It's the Two Gems Podcast.
Do you think I should pull up the dirty little secrets just to have them on hand?
Hey.
You haven't opened your beer yet. You said I looked cute. Is that for sure? You look good too. Do you want me to just quickly...
She's confirming we're okay in the cameras here. How are we looking, babe?
Good.
Am I centered in that thing?
Yeah, you look great.
Yeah, you look marvelous.
We're matching in blue.
Baby blue. Mm-hmm. Baby blue, color of the day.
The other day...
Like the sky.
The other day I
like
was...
Sage's eyes.
You ready?
Cheers, babe.
Cheers. A coffee and a beer.
Episode 10. Mm-hmm. 10.
That's a big one.
That's huge. Mm-hmm. It's a milestone.
That's exciting.
It's a lot of talking.
It's a lot of talking.
Good thing we're bombing talking.
The other day I was getting new glasses because, well, as it turns out, you did find my glasses.
You're so annoying.
Oh, I know. God. I need to, I think, veer away from clear glasses because, like, what a stupid thing to have, and I lose everything all the time. So, like, clear glasses are just, it's just not good for me. But I thought that I left them at the beach, and if you've ever been to Macouz Island, in the past I would have not even mentioned it, but now it's like a hot spot and everyone goes. So I might as well mention it. But Macouz Island, the tide goes up and down, so... As the tide was going up, we left, and then I got to the truck, and I was like, I think I lost my glasses on the beach. So I had to go through the waters again, didn't find them, and then Matt just called me on the way back today, and he's like, where are my glasses? You found them on the side in the gravel of, like, our driveway, which makes so much sense for me.
Well, one of the kids must have thrown them out the window or something like that.
Or I did or something. But it got me thinking when... So anyway, I went to go get new glasses, because I was like, there's no way I'm going to find... this pair again. And when I went, I was talking to the guy there. He's very kind. I go to Hakeem Optical in the shopping center. And I asked for his opinion on new glasses because I just go with what I go with all the time, right? Like you're just kind of a creature of habit and you like what you like. And I started trying on other ones and I looked to him and I was like, can you help me? Like, what do you like on me? And he kind of persuaded me to go a different direction.
What?
Well, no, I got two pairs just to make sure. So I got a pair that are kind of clear.
You asked another man what glasses to wear? What
so he was the only one there. And then it made me think like how when other people see the way that you look, it's different than how you see yourself. Mm-hmm. And I took his advice because I'm like, you don't know me and you just see what looks good on me. You're not overthinking it. And I took his advice. But then I started
Sharon has a monocle now. Just like one glass.
Yeah. But then I started thinking.
Sold me on it.
What do you, like I wear certain stuff every day. I like the way that I look and I just, dress however I dress. But like, what do you like that I wear? Like,
I don't like when you wear nothing.
No. But you know what I mean?
I guess I haven't really seen you in that many pairs of glasses. Like the clear ones.
I don't mean in glasses. I mean in life. Like what is your favorite outfit or like style that I go that you're like, oh, I like that on Sheridan?
I don't know. You've kind of come into your own a little bit.
Thanks.
You used to be known as chip sweatpants. And I don't know. You've kind of like taken the aesthetic of the sweatpants thing and like
elevated it?
Like elevated the sweatpant look a little bit.
I
think it's a part of your thing now. You wear these kind of like oversized sweaters and then like a little bit of a tighter shirt underneath of it, and it's kind of flattering on you, and you wear like earthy tones and
you like that.
Yeah, I'm into it.
Yeah.
Like I know face, so it works out for you, right?
Like you have
like
two drastically different styles when you go out to do a presentation and you wear your like fancy boots and your pea coat and stuff like that. And like I love that on you. And when I see you, I'm like, oh, Matt looks so fancy. But like my general favorite look on you is like Tim's and like camel pants and like a nice sweater.
You always say
chain.
Tim's. I wear Tim's like once a year.
And I love when you wear them. Take the hint.
Come walking into the bedroom tonight with a pair of Tim's.
Just shorts and Tim's. Yeah. That's what I want.
Yeah, I've always kind of prided myself on being versatile, which is funny because I don't really look at myself as a fashionable person, but I feel like if I put something on, I feel like it looks good on me. I feel like.
Good for you.
Yeah, I don't know. You know that about me. I could put a suit on, and it's like, he looks good in that. And then I could be in like sweatpants, Tim's, and a t-shirt, and it's like, yeah, that kind of fits Matt's vibe. I don't know. I feel like I have like a really like versatile look to me.
I love how confident you are.
Yeah.
about yourself. That's great.
I don't know, but it's always kind of been that way. Like I have a bald head. Like bald heads don't work for everybody. Like if Jeff had a bald head, oh my God.
It might work if he grew his beard.
Suck. Yeah, you're right. If he grew his beard out, maybe it would. Yeah, you have to have facial hair.
Right. It's hard to have the bald head and no facial hair. So it's tough.
Yeah. So
I don't actually know anyone that's done that.
Here's my thing though. I'm only good with a beard.
Oh my God, Matt. No, we need to actually pull up this photo.
We are never.
So a couple Halloweens ago, we decided, I don't know if you guys see, first let's pull up the photo of The Rock because a lot of people have done that costume. The one where he's wearing the black turtleneck with the fanny
So
pack.
you want everyone watching this to know that I suck with no beard?
No, so
It doesn't make. How can someone look this good with a beard and suck this bad without one?
you guys, you need to see this photo so that you can
We'll
laugh
put
as
it
hard as
right
I-
here.
Yeah,
Ding. We'll put the little picture right here.
and you're going to actually pee yourself because it was the funniest moment. I could not stop laughing.
So bad.
Matt was supposed to look like The Rock, but he ended up looking like a French man. Eats baguettes and bicycles around. And I think too, because I took it with my iPhone. So you know when you like you put it up a little bit and you angle down and you look like
Oh
extra
my
svelte. Like
God.
it's okay. Well, you saw the photo now, so you guys can also.
No, here's what happens to me. About once a year, I'll watch a Vin Diesel movie or a Rock movie or
Because
something.
he doesn't have a beard,
Yeah, neither of them do.
right?
Like some guys can pull off the bald head and then the clean shaven face. So I'll see a Vin Diesel movie and I'm like, oh my God, this guy's good. He's handsome. So then I'll run upstairs and I'll shave my beard off. This literally happens like once a year, and then I look at myself in the mirror. I'm like, what in the actual fuck was I thinking? I suck without a beard.
Well, do you know what though? If you think on it, Vin Diesel and The Rock and stuff, they have very chiseled faces. Like they're kind of no, but it's true. They're kind of like thicker.
They're not eating Pop-Tarts for
No,
breakfast.
but not even that. It's just that they're very like square almost, so it like works, and they have
I
like.
don't think that's true.
Oh.
Vin Diesel has kind of a saggy chin kind of
Oh.
thing.
Well, I guess
but
it
he's
just looks
fucking jacked. And they're just studs. And I suppose with their bald faces, they're like carrying machine guns and
Right.
taking cars off ramps
Yeah,
and stuff like
true.
I'm just like sucking
Yeah,
at
yeah.
home in sweatpants with a shaved face. I don't know. Every time I do it, I'm like, it brings me down a few notches. It very much humbles me.
Well,
I'm like,
I still think you're very handsome, even without it. But when I look at you, even Kaia, I remember when you shaved, she's like, "Why did you do that?"
No,
Dad.
the thing is too is when I was trying to mimic the look of The Rock in that Halloween costume, he had a really nice fade and kind of like an old school kind of a box cut.
Right.
And I don't have any hair on my head.
So do you
we
remember?
took your weave or something and taped it to my head, and it looked so
It looked like a toupee,
bad.
and then we like painted the other side. Oh my gosh! And you're you looked at the photo. You're like, I'm not going.
Because you were going to a Halloween. I almost didn't
You
go to the
literally
Halloween
sat in
party.
the corner and Patrick, like, I will not leave this house. I'm like, you're going, and you.
I was like pacing back and forth in the kitchen. Like I was like, I just can't do this. I can't go like this year. I'm like, what's my alternate plan? And like, I'm sitting there with that stupid watch on from Value Village. Like I really went in on this
You
costume.
did. Is this not when I was Post Malone and when I actually killed it? Let's post a picture of me being Post Malone.
Oh my
Because
God, was that the Post
I'm
Malone?
like, there's no way I'm not going. I look amazing. So I went in as Post Malone. Nobody cared about you. Everyone's like, what's Matt? I'm like, don't even worry about it.
Yeah, Sharon walks in. The whole crowd's like, "You go, girl!" And then I came in, and there was almost like a record skip. and like
crickets,
people were like looking over their shoulder, like, "What the hell are you?" And then Tom knew. Tom goes, "You're The Rock," in that old picture. I was like, "Thank you, man."
At least someone
yeah.
knows.
Oh yeah. It was.
Oh,
it was
that was really
bad.
funny. That was really funny.
Man, I sucked that night.
I know.
Holy.
Well, anyway.
Come here for a sec.
What?
Got a little something in your nose there.
Thanks so much. What do you want to talk about today, hun?
I don't know. Oh God, you got a booger in your nose. You got to
Oh
pull it
my
out. You have to
God.
pull it out. It's gonna drive me crazy.
On
Now
that
watch.
side? Did I get it?
Let me see. Just look around. Yeah, you got it.
Phew.
Where did that go though? Is the question.
On the chair.
Yeah.
No big deal.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Huh?
I'm feeling good.
Are you? Why are you feeling good?
I don't know.
Yesterday you weren't that good. What's...
Yeah, I know. And I still slept like poop last night too. The kids are all discombobulated because of our trip, and Sage has been doing a great job sleeping in his bed, and so is Theo. But then the trip happened, and we were back to sleeping in all sorts of confusing places. So of course now Sage is back into my nipples all of a sudden. It's ridiculous. Like, we haven't breastfed since my surgery, and
It's your fault.
well, because we were at the cottage and it was like 7,000 degrees in there, literally. So at night you have to have the fans
42.
on. 42 degrees.
42 degrees Celsius.
Think of how hot that is while you're trying to sleep. So,
Well, I mean, in like, for any Americans listening, like
Right.
in Fahrenheit, it has to be well over 100. That must be like 100 and...
so you're
120
sleeping
or
in
something?
that. So I'm like, I'm obviously sleeping naked. And then Sage and I slept together. And then all of a sudden he was back in my nipples all over again. And now it's like his thing. And I'm like, I thought I was away from the nipple
You
life.
do this to yourself.
Yeah.
You do it every time.
What was I
You
supposed to say? Say no? Like, I was half
keep
asleep.
him off your naps.
Yeah, I
Right,
suppose.
he's over there playing with it like a little tic-tac, like
He
flicking
goes,
it around.
he literally says that. Sage. Makes it so much worse.
So yeah, we went to Kamiko and Scott's for a little barbecue last night and hung out there. It was nice to see some friends. It's been a little while. Well, hasn't been that long, but I mean, it
Well-
was nice to see friends as we've been gone for a few weeks and stuff. So
It's really, really hard to maintain friendships as you get older, I think. And I think most people that are in the situation that we're in with kids and just a busy life understand it and get it. It's still sad. Like, you'd love to see your friends every day and spend time with them, but it's just not the reality. So seeing them yesterday was really nice. Just having a little hangout. And
I
letting
love
the
them
kids
so
play and
much.
Stuff. I know.
There's just like good energy over there, and
We've
one-
made some really good friends in Nova Scotia, haven't we?
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Well, see, I've gone, and I think I think you have too. Like, I've gone my whole life with the same bucket of friends. Like, I have my OG friends. Like, when I had to hit the reset button, right? When I moved to Nova Scotia, I was 12 years old, so I had to make a whole new basket of friends going into junior high, which is like,
That's a tough age to do that.
that's a tough age.
Yeah.
I mean, it isn't, but I mean, like,
No,
to
it
just
is.
restart going into junior high. So I had like no girlfriend situation, no best, like, BFF kind of thing, no group to play like kick the can with and stuff. Like, I was making a whole new set of friends, and those people that I met in grade 6, grade 7, like in that area, are still my best friends to this day, and that's
Right.
really special. But I found that in the last like 5 years, we've kind of come into this pocket and made like really good relationships with new people.
Well, I think there's something really special about your friends when you're younger. I think you have these amazing memories you can always like tack on to your friendship as you're older. Is the memories you have, the nostalgia you have, whether you end up growing apart in the sense that like you become a parent and they don't, and you veer in different directions, but you can always come back to like what you had originally and feed off of that, which is amazing. And I think there's something really special about those types of friends. But I also think your friends as you get older and you really like come to grips with who you are as a person. Like, I think in my 20s, I was even obviously we met when I was 24, but like from, out of high school up until then, I'm still kind of figuring out who I am. So my friends are coming along for that ride. But now at this age, like, I'm very confident with who I am 100%. Like, this is me now. And I think there's something really special about making friends at that age because they really know you for who you've turned out to be. And I think if anything, like, maybe you get along a little bit better for that reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not a bad
I think
thing.
you're almost wording it wrong, though.
Oh.
You know why? Because I completely agree with you. I think 3/4 of your sentiment is right, but I don't think it's you finding yourself. I think what it actually is just this is you in this current juncture of your life.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? Like, you're now in your 30s, so like the things that you do in your 30s, air quote kind of thing, like. You're a mom right now, a mom with like kids that are in that span of 2 to 7 in that range. So you're probably going to gravitate towards people in that area.
Yeah.
But when you're like, let's say, I don't know, 50 and you're like into lawn bowling and shit, you'll probably make like new friends down at the lawn bowlerama thing. Like
And I think I used to have a really hard time letting friendships go, even if there was nothing negative about them. Like, I could see me drifting apart from people when I went to Acadia, from people back in Ottawa, and when I left Acadia, and I tried so hard to hold on to those friendships. I almost felt guilty for them falling apart, but it's also just life. That's just how it goes. And I think also as I've gotten older, I realize that. So I'm not as, I don't hold on to it as much, which is great because I do. Like, I don't know about you, but I'd always hold on to those friendships and be like, it's like they were running away and I'm like, no, let's try and keep this friendship going. But it's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've just kind of learned to kind of live with that as well lately. Unfortunately, with like a family member as well and stuff, just like trying to, I think you're the one that had this saying, and I'm going to completely butcher right now, but just that idea of not holding on to things that hurt you. Like sometimes you do need to let go of people. Mm-hmm. And no one really wants to do it. It hurts to do it, but sometimes you just need to like rip the Band-Aid off, just let it go, because once it starts affecting you and bringing you down, and then that's translating in your relationship with all the people that you actually do get along with, and you're just dragging everyone down. It's like you got to like remove the situation.
You need to protect your heart and your boundaries, and I think that's a topic that has become really prevalent in today's. Which is great, because before it was, your family is so important, don't mess it, like no matter what they do, they're still your family. And like, yes, that's true to an extent, but also like, there's an expression about family, blood and water, and
blood thicker than water.
Yeah, and I agree to an extent, but you need to protect your peace. And if for example, like with family members and stuff, I don't know, you just got to count your losses and like hope for the best, and maybe in the future or something. But like if it's bringing you down and it's a toxic thing, like you got to step away from that.
Yeah.
Right?
I think too, especially when you've put the time and effort into it.
Right.
Like I'm not the type person that's like, you backstab me once and it's it forever. I mean, I have no ill will towards anyone or anything like that. It's just if I put the time and effort in, time after time after time, it's like at some point you just got to okay, I'm going to do my thing and look the other way and do my thing over here. And
well, there's this thing too where like you don't pick your family, right? You don't get to pick your family like how you pick your friends. Your family is your family. They just are who they are. And that isn't always a recipe for success with siblings and stuff like that. And like I can even think back to when your family, again, Matt has a really large family, but there was an instance, and I have no problem talking about it, but when Sage was born. Dad. Yeah. When Sage was born, and I was obviously in the thick of just having a baby, still bleeding upstairs. Like there was a lot going on, and I'm a disorganized person in a sense anyways. And then, those days that are just foggy lead to extra confusion. And we were supposed to have one of your sisters over, and I completely forgot. And I had somebody else over instead. And then, I forgot about that. And then they posted on Facebook pictures of them meeting Sage and stuff. And that really obviously hurt their feelings, which from the other perspective makes total sense, Absolutely. Right? 100%. You want to come over and say hi to the new baby and stuff. And I didn't even think about it. Like I had completely forgot until I received that message. And anyway, it ended up making a pretty big deal within your siblings, and probably the biggest argument you guys have ever gotten into. I would say
maybe even the only one, really. I think.
Yeah, maybe. and they came over, and I had said in my head, I was like, I'm not going to bring this up because we just moved along, and like come over next week. But we got into it immediately. Of course I did. I got there and I started talking. They came over and I started talking about it. But that was a conversation worth having. Yeah, obviously. And if anything, it brought you guys closer. And we ended up chatting for like 3 hours about your entire family dynamic.
Yeah.
You were able to come in and talk about how, sometimes you felt like a bit of a black sheep in your family because you were the only one from both your parents. And then Matt's dad went and had 4 other children. So sometimes you would feel left out. Right. And then they chimed in and said the opposite, like, well, what? We've always looked up to you and this
You're
and
the greatest one.
Right. No. But do you know what I mean? Like they were like, we were always so excited when you would come over and stuff like that. So like the communication there was so important. And I think it made everybody a little bit closer.
Yeah.
But, then on the other side, you have other situations within your family that are just too complicated to try and work through. And that's okay. Mm-hmm. You just need to come to terms with it and say, like, that's all right.
Well, I'm 37 now, and I came to terms with it probably like 2 years ago. I was just like, I'm not putting any more effort into this.
Yeah.
Like, it's sucking the life out of me. I would spend... Have I cried over this?
Oh.
Have I? I'm trying to think. Have I cried over this?
Yes.
One? Yeah, I've probably cried a little bit, and I know there was times where I was just sitting at my computer just broken over broken relationships with people, and I don't know. I feel like you do gotta let go.
You do.
So yeah, friends and stuff, and yeah. Anyway, all that. If I got a big tangent there, but we have some like really good friends right now, and every time we're around them, it's just like, yes, I love these people,
and those are the people you need to surround yourself with.
Yeah,
the people that when you leave, you're like, I love this. There's no pressure. There's no nothing. Like you shouldn't have a friendship that's complicated. That's not well, at least for me, that's not the friendships that I'm into anymore. Like I want to have a drama free. Like easygoing, it is what it is. You know I love you. If I don't reach out to you every day, that's fine. You know, the love, the mutual love is there. And I think at this point in my life, at 33, busy as all hell, like that's what works for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So last night, when you fell asleep, I was laying in bed last night, reading on my phone like I do every night. And I use this app called Flipboard. You know that.
Yeah.
I've been actually consciously making an effort to stay away from Flipboard lately.
Okay.
Because I just find, oh my God, there's just so much negative shit out there right now. It's like you open Flipboard up, but I don't know if the algorithm has just been like, Matthew enjoys stuff about climate change and shitty things. He clicks on these, so give him more. But now I open Flipboard up and it's almost always depressing shit.
Right, don't do that.
Yeah, I know. So I've been staying away from it. But last night I had a little urge. I was like, I need a little shit in my life here. What's going on? So I opened Flipboard up and didn't see shit. I stumbled into this article that I thought was so interesting that I was like, I'm going to bring up on the podcast tomorrow.
What is it?
I don't know. Okay, so I found out yesterday, and it totally made sense. I don't really think I've ever consciously thought about this before, but then when I read it, I was like, yeah, I do that. So 9 out of 10 women judge a man negatively if he has a broken phone.
What?
Yeah. Yep.
How would you even know if you can't see the back with the
like
screen?
if they have a cracked phone screen or anything, they judge you based on what your phone looks like, what model you have. So here's how I stumbled into this. So Apple has a brand new commercial. It just came out the other day where they're
look at Matt's phone, by the way.
Okay, well, no one would see it because it's just the back, and that was actually you that broke it, I think. Anyway, so Apple's new commercial, what it is it's a phone with no case on it, and it goes and starts vibrating, and it goes over to the edge of the table, and it's really cool. So the way they shoot it, the camera's down on the floor, and you just see looking way up onto this counter as it goes like and then falls onto the floor, and it doesn't even look at the phone. It just the lens just darkens out with an Apple logo, and it says don't worry, it's an iPhone. And it was such a powerful commercial, and I started reading some of the insight behind it, and their thinking was, the reason this ad is so genius is that they're not telling you, they know that even though they showed you in a commercial that you don't need a case, that people are still going to put a case on.
Okay. But
when you go to buy a new phone, you like the idea of buying a phone that's not going to break. It has the Gorilla Glass 5 or whatever, but just knowing that the next iPhone you get, it's like, wow, the new iPhone 13 doesn't break if it falls off the counter. You're still going to put a case on it, but now Apple has showed you that you don't need to if you don't want to, but they know you're still going to do it, so that's okay, but they get the bragging rights because they said it. And I don't think too many people are going to try them on that. You know what I mean? So they've planted this idea in your head that you don't need a case anymore.
Why? Because you can get the warranty?
Well, no, what they're saying is the glass on these new phones is so strong now that you don't need to worry about it. But you still will and will put it in a case, but it's really cool that you bought a phone that you don't need a case for. It's strong. So then this article led from one thing to another and got into this thing about how when you have a broken phone, people judge you on it. And then I started thinking, your phone is like a status symbol. And I've thought of this before. Like, here's one thing that I'm going to admit right now. When I see somebody that has an iPhone in their hand and they're still clicking a button on the bottom, to me, oh my God, I'm judgmental. This is the judgmental me. I'm looking at you and I'm like, bro, like.
So judgy.
Oh my God.
I would never think twice about that.
Yes, you would.
Oh, God, no. Unless I see somebody that has, like, an iPhone that's literally from, like, 2007. I'm like, you know you can get an upgrade, right? But otherwise, I could care less what's in your hand.
Well, that's what you just said it, though. You just admitted it. Like, when you see an old iPhone, where the person's still clicking buttons on it and stuff, it's like, well, you almost then start stereotyping them. It's like,
I'm just wondering, like, why? I'm not judging.
Well, 9 out of 10 women do it, according to this study. People do it. Like if you sit down, let's just pretend right now you're on a blind date and like the guy sits down and he sits down, puts his phone down, the thing's just smashed. You're going to notice the smashed phone. And then you're going to be sitting there wondering like if his phone's cracked, like what else in his life is broken? Like can he not get
it fixed?
Can he not get his phone fixed? Like,
right.
But then on the flip side, it's like, maybe I just don't care about my stupid phone. But it's like this weird thing where your phone becomes this status symbol. If when I see someone roll into a meeting and they put their phone down and they raw dog that thing, there's no case on it, I literally look at them and I'm like, what a gangster move, no case?
You're right.
Like, what are you, a baller? What kind of car do you have?
Or
like,
I think you must be very careful, and that's great. We want that in the meeting.
You know what I mean? But when you see someone come in and put that iPhone down and there's no case on it, I'm immediately like, this person does not give a shit.
Right.
They have money in the bank. They don't care. Like,
or maybe they do give a lot of shits. They're just very careful. But either way, it's a positive, I guess.
Who doesn't put a case on their phone?
Yeah.
It's such a crazy thing. And so I really started thinking about this last night. Because you know what I'm like? I'm a deep thinker. Like, I get these ideas in my head, and I'm really thinking of the types of people, like building an archetype of the type of person that would not have a case on their phone.
Right.
It's like, it's a status symbol not rocking a case.
So are you going to get a new phone?
Yeah, I'm getting my phone fixed and taking the case off.
Yeah, literally. It's 11:11.
Anyway, I thought that was really interesting. It's 11:11, make a wish.
We can't tell it out loud. I got mine.
Okay, I got mine.
I just have a couple topics here.
All right.
I'm going to spit them off.
What topics do you have over there? Beautiful.
One is first time sex versus married with kid sex.
Oh my goodness.
Very different sex.
Is it?
Well, actually, let's just take a little step back to Matt and when we first got together. I don't know if we've talked about this on the past episodes, but I was very thrown off at the beginning.
We talked about this, didn't we? Oh, keep going.
Well, I mean, let's just like bring it back just for a quick sec, because maybe some people when they first get with their partner or their person are like banging like rabbits and doing it all the time, and that's it, and it's like sparks are flying, and right.
That's usually how it is, I think.
Right, but that was not it for us. In fact, it wasn't this for quite a while. You're right. We did talk about this and how when we were intoxicated, we made it happen and stuff like that. But in general, I even remember, I'll never forget, I went down to Nova Scotia, and it was your birthday weekend, I think. And I had just met Matt's mom for the first time. And we clicked right away.
Clicky, easy to get.
Well, she also loves me.
Yeah.
But anyway, and we were downstairs chatting, and I just looked at her, and I was like, Delma, I can't believe I said that.
Me neither, because that's not really mom's thing at all.
I knew that, right? Yeah. And I was like, Delma, your son won't like be intimate with me. And I was like, I don't know what to do, because I'm moving down here in a couple of months, and I'm genuinely like, what's going to happen? Is this like, not that it's a problem, but like, what's going on? And I said this straight up to her, and I forget what she said, but
what did she say?
She must have said like, give it time or something like that, which was obviously the case, because then when Matt was like back into it and stuff, it was a completely 180 to the point where I was like, what is happening? So our first time
That's my
sex,
butthole, honey.
Yeah. Our first time sex was not perhaps the typical first time sex, but then once we got into it. But
do you even remember the first time?
Well, no.
Do you remember anything about it?
You mean when we were downstairs at Melbourne?
Yeah, and you were sloshed? Oh, my
I think
God.
I threw up right before that. Like, I was wasted. I had 2 bottles of wine. That's why you're probably like, okay, I'm comfortable now. I don't need to overthink this,
my
right?
God.
No, but
I don't think that's what it was. I was like raring to go.
Oh, really? At that point? Because
I took a Viagra.
No, but let me let you know that after that,
reveals that 8 years later.
After that, there was still like, you still weren't into it. That was just a one-time thing. So I don't understand why, unless you were under the influence and felt more confident.
I don't know. You know this. I mean, I was just so broken. And when I came up there that day, there was all the sparks and everything. When I saw you that night where we actually had intercourse, I mean, we were all fired up and everything. And then I think the next day rolled around, and I was like, it wasn't that I liked you any less, Ring. It was just like, but life, like it was just kind of like, Like, there was just a lot on my mind. And now you know this about me. I'm just always thinking about stuff all the time. It's a gift and a curse, it really is. I pride myself on being that type of person. Like, I like thinking things through and getting into those deep thoughts and all that stuff. But then at the same time, it's like it just eats at my soul sometimes.
Right.
And I just,
well, what I was going to say,
I just couldn't get into it.
What I was going to say, though, was that when I moved down in July, the end of July,
I think.
Then we only had from July until November, and then I got pregnant with Kaia. So August, September, October, November, that's only 4 months of us living together and like having sex and doing all that kind of stuff to then I was pregnant and I was miserable. First trimester, I was like, get away from me. You're disgusting. I don't want anything to do with you. I'm disgusting. Like it was not a happy time. So I feel like we didn't even have like years of sex and all this kind of stuff. Right. And so then, after Kaia was born, it was almost even worse for me for a while. I don't know why. I've heard this happen sometimes after you deliver. It's not feel nice. And then it took really until but I mean even after like the 6-week period, it was still not great. And then after I had Theo, everything kind of like shifted back into place and it was like enjoyable again.
Really? The whole until Theo wasn't really that enjoyable?
Yeah, like obviously when, you're doing other things, it's not actual penetration. It was enjoyable, but like the feeling of it always felt like not good. Huh. Yeah, I know, which is too bad. But then Theo happened, and then it kind of like went all back into place. It was really weird, and I've heard this
His
too.
big head just knocking everything back into place.
I've heard people say after they have had kids, like sex is even better than before. I don't know what happens on your insides. I'm no professional, but there must be something that happens to make it better.
Do some Googling.
Yeah.
Bring up Google.
And now I think sex after kids, for me at least, I don't know about you. I mean, it's definitely harder to find the time and to make, as we've joked about plenty of times. But I think that after having kids and like understanding my body more and learning to love my body more, that it's made me enjoy sex more because I'm not overthinking it anymore for me, right? Like for a man, it's probably different. I don't know, because you're not living the experience I'm living, but like I'm more confident than ever. I'm like, you guys have seen it all. I've given birth. I've done everything. And you're still so
that makes
into
sense.
me
Seeing
that I feel great.
Kind
that
of
I'm more and like me personally, I'm more confident for that reason, for having done that, right? Like women are crazy when they give birth and do all that stuff.
I've seen you at your most vulnerable, and so has about 30 people in that group chat when Sage was born.
Oh my!
How have we never told this story on here?
Oh my! So
here, let's bring this picture up too.
Yeah, let's.
Oh my God, we could do it and blur it.
No, Matt. So, okay, let's start this off. So, when I was pregnant with Kaia. It started with Kaia, yeah. When I was pregnant with Kaia.
Every time Sheridan's pregnant, I send a nudie to the family by mistake.
So, when I was pregnant with Kaia, we had a big group chat going because it was just easier than messaging everybody, right? Like everybody's asking, when's it happening, da-da-da. So we just created this big group chat. And Matt just gets so excited in the birthing unit that he just snaps a photo without me even looking at it and just fires it off. So the first one with Kaia, I'm pretty sure Jesse messaged me back and he's like, nice areola, Sheridan.
See,
my brother.
Okay, that one in all fairness, I didn't think really mattered because it was like, let me preface some of this, okay? So let's keep in mind that for all of the births, I'm getting 1,000 messages in the room. Like, it's not like out of the blue. It's like, what is Matt? What's he sent? Oh my God. It's not that. It's like literally like, is it there yet? Is it there yet? Like, what's happening? Is the baby there? Like, what is it? Is it a boy or is it a girl? Like, people are just like all day long. And then when the baby's home, I'm like, holy shit. And like, I send it and then every time it's like, for once, Matthew, look at the photo before you hit send to every.
So it got worse with every child. And by the time Sage comes out, Matt takes a photo because Sage, let's just remind everyone listening that Sage came out very quickly. So like I pushed him out in one push. He came, that was it. And so it all happened really fast.
The cord, right? You should tell a little bit of this because it makes context for the photo.
Oh, does it?
No, but there was like 100 people in the damn room. There was a lot of busyness going on.
No, there was not. There was like one nurse and the doctor came in later. Are you out of your mind?
We're going to bring the photo up. We're going to put it up here.
We're not putting it up.
Yeah, we are. We're going to bring it up. So when Sage...
So you just get to decide to bring the photo up again?
When Sage came out, he came out so fast that the umbilical cord was wrapped around his neck, and he had the knot the pretzel they call it or whatever, which is really cool. There's not many babies that have it. So his umbilical cord, he had like swam through it a couple times and made a perfect pretzel.
Right.
So anyway, that was around his neck when he came out.
The pretzel part?
No. The whole thing was wrapped around his neck. His head was.
Which is actually very common, by the way. You were just panicking because you'd never seen it before.
No, but they were kind of panicking too because you remember there was no one else in the room. Like normally, I don't want to get the terminology wrong here, but normally there's like a nurse and then like one or two other people as the baby's coming out. But I don't think anyone thought it was going to happen this quick. So the room had evacuated and there was just one person. It was like the helper nurse person that was kind of keeping an eye on things.
Right.
And she was over there doing paperwork and stuff. And then Sheridan goes, it's coming. You like farted kind of a thing. It was like, it's coming. And then I was like, holy shit, the baby's coming. And the nurse comes like flying over. She's like, hold here. And there's all this commotion. She's like, Bob, get like, Bob. And like everyone starts like running down to the room because he was literally coming out and he was blue. Like I'm telling you, his face was like dark blue. And I was kind of freaking out because I hadn't been a part of something like that before. I like Kaia and Theo came out pretty well. I mean, there wasn't too many complications or anything. And he was blue and I'm like, he can't breathe. And she's like, everyone comes in and there's all this commotion. And then they get him out and they get the umbilical cord off of his neck and get him up on your chest. And it just all happened so fast. And it was all this pandemonium and people running around and everything. And then I just like picked my phone up. I was like, click. And clicked this picture and just like flipped it off to the group chat because there was like 18 of us or something in the group chat.
I would just like to mention that in that group chat is my father, Matt's father, my brother, his brothers, and all the girls. So there's this photo of me holding Sage, and of course in my face I'm like, oh my, this is so beautiful. Like,
beautiful moment, yeah.
Right. And then you look down and there's my full-on vagina.
Okay, with a lot of commotion in front and around it. Okay.
Yeah,
like,
it's not
just
a full vagina photo, just like
it
my
is
vagina.
a full vagina photo.
Well, yes, but I'm saying it's not like you were like down there and just took a picture of my vagina. But there's
oh
me
my God.
holding Sage and just my vagina.
I don't even think the cord was cut
So
yet.
Matt's sisters obviously see it immediately.
So this thing's up in the internet now.
And so Matt's sisters are calling each other separately, being like, oh my God, we need to do damage control. At this point, my mom's received the picture. She's sending it off to her sisters, who are sending it off to whoever. And then Matt's dad's girlfriend is like about to post it on Facebook, like all this outrageous stuff. And there's just my vagina, my poor vagina just sitting there.
Full vag down in the bottom left corner, like just like cropped out in the bottom left.
And like you said, you're like, thank God it was you, Sheridan, that, because I was pissed, like in a sense. I was like, are you serious? And the worst part about the Facebook Messenger is you can't even delete the photo. It's there forever. You can delete it in the chat, but it's still like up in the media. Like it's, if we go to find it now, it's there. It's still there. And I'm like, are you serious?
I wonder.
So then Matt's sister, although she did say, she's like, I have to be honest, Sheridan, because she's much younger. And she's like, it actually looked better than I thought. She's like, thank you. And I'm like, well, there you go. There's a vagina after birth. But like, so then the joke was that I was going to catch Matt off guard one time and send a dick pic. Just flaccid Matt walking around. I will tell you, though, that from the Dominican, I have the funniest photo of Matt. That one day.
Here's the picture. There's no...
What?
There's only one nurse in
the umbilical cord is still in there and everything. Like,
God.
Like you'd think that you'd be like, you know what, hon, I'm just gonna wait till he's all bundled up and he's on your chest and it's like a precious moment. No,
I haven't seen this photo in like 2 years. Almost to the day. Oh my God.
He apologized a bunch of times, but I'm like, oh, how can you can't be forgiven for this?
There's
I'll
nothing
move
in the
on,
way.
But
It's not even a busy photo at all.
it's
All these years,
literally
kind of like.
Are you serious?
All these
Do you
years,
assume there's like 10 nurses in the photo?
I don't know. I guess like the way I remembered it in my head is I was a little further back and there was a lot of like commotion. I just looked at the photo. It's like an intimate thing with you, the baby, and the nurse. There's nothing in the way at all.
So I have this photo in my back pocket of Matt from the Dominican because I said I would always get him back. And anyway, on our balcony, there was like this big hot tub thing. So Matt decided to fill it up and like didn't realize it would take an hour to fill it up. So he fills it up and within like 20 seconds, he hops in it and it's like super deep and he's butt naked. Anyway, I snapped this photo of him from above, and like you can't even see his penis. It's like tucked in between his legs. And I'm like, oh, perfect. I'll keep this in my back pocket. It's the funniest photo of you I've ever seen. No. Should we plop that one up? Yeah.
Just pixelate the.
So far we put the Rock one from Halloween and not this photo.
No, Sheridan. The funniest thing about it is that I'm in this tub that's like the size of this room, and there's like a half an inch of water in it, and I'm just curled up in the corner with my book with a flaccid penis, and Sheridan comes out and snaps this
like nice view.
No, and I'm like curled up like freaking Schmiegel in the corner of the thing. Oh my God. Oh man, that's gonna come back to bite me one of these days.
Oh, you just get ready.
If a fourth ever happens, oh my goodness, I better.
Yeah, we'll tag it on to the photo because I'm sure there'll be something about me showing, and then I'll just add that to the end.
There's not much left to show.
Yeah,
unless there's a full anus pic. I mean, the family's seen everything else. Holy jeez.
Side note, very random, but when I gave birth to Sage, in my brain, and I had been told and assumed that you should give birth on your back because that's just what everybody was doing. With Kaia, I mean, I had no idea what I was doing. I went in completely unprepared on purpose. I didn't want to have a birth plan. I didn't want to have anything because I didn't want to be disappointed. I just said, I'm going in and I'm going to have a baby. Whether that's a C-section, whether that's me getting an epidural, whether that's anything, I'm just going to go with the flow.
Yeah.
That's what I decided to do. And Kaia came up so quickly, and actually, just very quickly, backstory about me giving birth to Kaia. It was 2 weeks early. I had just got a sweep. I came home. That's actually a funny story anyways with Oscar and the dog stuff. So I had come back to the house. Tell the story. Okay, so
it's quick.
So I came back to the house. We were living at Dartmouth at the time, and it was late at night, I think. Because I gave birth to at midnight, I think. Anyway, it was late at...
What are you talking about?
What? Oh, sorry. We had a barbecue and everything.
We had a barbecue with
so I got a sweep. They asked me if I want to sweep, and I said, sure, why not? Like, let's get the process going. And I was 38 weeks at the time. I went home. I was cramping all day. I just thought it was from the sweep. And then Matt's mom was going away, and she really doesn't venture far. So the fact that she was going away was a big deal.
It's her first trip in like 10 years.
Right. And we were going to take care of Oscar, her dog at the time. So she comes over and is dropping Oscar off. And meanwhile, I'm upstairs having like outrageous diarrhea. Like I am having the worst cramps and diarrhea of my life. And I'm also bleeding. And I'm thinking, oh, this must be from the sweep. That's what I'm thinking, right? But in fact, it's like my mucus plug was coming out. All this stuff was happening.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So I'm just like, this is fine. This is normal. And I had heard, like somebody had talked to me about birth before, and they just said, my advice is do not go in until you can't talk through your contractions. Because the worst thing to do is go into the hospital and then be like, off you go, head back home. So disappointing, right? So she said, just wait till you can't talk through your contractions anymore. And in my mind, again, I'm thinking I'm not in labor here. I'm just in pain, just pooping, exactly. So I download the contraction app just for fun anyways. And while I'm pooping, I'm going through. And for me, the very first moment that I had my first contraction, it just felt like a period cramp. A bad one. And I was like, oh, this is painful, but I'm fine. And then anyway, you're downstairs talking to your mom and you're like, Sheridan, come down and see my mom. I'm like, Matt, I'm literally, everything is coming out of me right now. Like, give me a minute. So I went back into the bed. I lied down and you came in and you're like, what is happening? Like, what's going on right now? And I said, I don't know. Just go have a shower just in case.
Well, yeah, you just had finished eating a bunch of a bunch of sausages.
Right. And I have a bad stomach anyways, like just so everyone knows, like I definitely have stomach problems. It's not like abnormal.
Partial IBS.
It's not abnormal for me to go up on the toilet after dinner, right? So it's sort of, it wasn't out of nowhere.
No.
It wasn't random.
No.
So Matt has a shower and I'm
like, let's pinch it off and come say hi to mom.
Yeah, that's literally what you said, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, pinch it off.
that bad boy off, come
hurry
say
up,
hi to
Sheridan. So then I have...
Meanwhile, you're having a baby.
So Matt has a shower. We have Oscar at this point. Your mom's left. And I'm like, of course, the one day we're going to go to the hospital, you have a dog. We have a dog with us. So we messaged my brother, who just at that time lived down the street. And Matt calls and he's like, I think Sheridan's in labor. We're not sure. We're going to go to the hospital and check it out. Can we bring Oscar to you for the night just in case? Right?
You're acting like it was more calm than it was. There was definitely like complete pandemonium. We got in the car And like we were taking turns on 2 wheels.
But,
like we were flying.
Actually, one of Kate's friends is like, I think I saw Sheridan and Matt. They're heading to the hospital. They were ripping.
It was Julia. She was calling all of them and messaging them going, that baby's coming right now. Like I saw Matt and Sheridan go flying by in the middle of the night, right?
Right. So we bring Oscar to Jesse's, and I'm literally sitting in the parking lot, like going through contractions. Matt's taking 10 minutes in there, and I'm like, what is this man talking about?
No. So I'm in there with Jesse, and I bring the dog in. Like I don't know how to dog sit. I didn't even know what was even going on, and I'm just in there, and like, of course, my brain is just in like hyper crazy mode because of the baby coming, and I just remember being in there like, okay, and here's this little shit pan thing, and here's this bed, and Jesse's like, Matthew, you're having a baby, get out of here, Sheridan. And I'm like, okay, man, like, are you good? Like, I'll call you later and make sure the dog's okay. I'm like, all right. He's like, go, like. And so then we got up the street, and then realized that the McDonald Bridge was closed because in Nova Scotia there's 2 bridges that connect the cities,
right.
And the one that would get us to the hospital quick was shut down for construction because they were like adding to the middle of the bridge, and they shut it down every night to do work on it. We didn't clue into that and ended up having to drive all the way up to the other bridge and then all the way back, which sucked.
So at that point, my parents were staying over in Terrence Bay, and I called them and I said, listen, I don't know if this is happening for sure, but just like on your radar, maybe stay awake just in case. And immediately when I said that to them, they drove in, which is actually kind of cute if you think about it. So we get there and I go inside. And again, this is my first baby. I am so unaware of what to be aware of that I don't know if I'm being dramatic, that if this is normal, if nothing's really happening, right?
Well, and your threshold for pain is crazy.
Right. So I'm in pain and I'm like, this is horrible. And every bathroom I'm stopping at, I'm having the runs, and which I've then learned makes sense.
Pooping?
Oh, yeah.
At every bathroom?
Every bathroom, because your body's preparing. It's getting rid of everything.
Getting everything out of there.
Right.
Oh, my God.
So I go in and I talk to the woman at the front, and she's like, what's up? I'm like, well, my due date's this day. I'm 2 weeks early, but like, I think I'm having contractions. That's what I said. I think I'm having contractions. She's like, okay, well, let's get you up. We'll get you checked, so on and so forth. I go up. The girl tells me I'm 3 centimeters. You need to get to 10. So she goes, go outside and walk around the little garden at the front. I'm like, okay. Again, in a lot of pain, but unaware. So some people can labor for quite a while. Like I think on average, your first labor and delivery can last, it's like 24 hours, 12 to 24 hours. So I'm in here thinking, okay, this is going to go on all night. So I go outside and like, again, the nurse was not overly kind. She made me feel like, get out of here and go walk around, come back later. Like,
yeah, so it was a little weird.
See you later. Not so mean, but not like welcoming, right? So anyway, I go outside and I'm walking around with Matt, squeezing his hand so hard, throwing up because I'm in so much pain. And poor Matt, who's like disgusted by this, is on the side rubbing my back like,
oh my God.
And I'm just throwing up. And then my parents pull up with Dakota. So cute. Dakota's just in the back. My parents pull up and my mom.
Didn't she eat your vomit at one point?
Ew!
Dakota came over and was like,
oh my God, dogs. Anyway, so my mom takes one look at me and she's like, you're going back inside. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not going back in. It's only been 20 minutes. The woman has said, like, stay outside, walk around until you just can't handle it anymore. She's like, well, I'm going in to talk to them. So she goes in to talk to them and she's like, Sheridan, come back in. I'm like, okay. So anyway, again, like not confident within my first labor and delivery, right? Like not feeling like I can vocalize what I want to say and stuff, just trying to make it work. So I go inside. The woman checks me again after 20 minutes, maybe a half an hour. And she's like, you're 8 centimeters. I said, well, what does that mean? She's like, well, we're going to have to send you over to like a labor and delivery room right now. And I think usually they bring you upstairs into another room, but they didn't do that. They just shuffled me along to a room 2 doors down from where she had checked me. There was a lot of students in there. It's a learning hospital. So it was very busy. In my head, I'm thinking, I can still get an epidural. This is no problem. Like, as I'm in a lot of pain at this point. Still pooping.
At that point, you were thinking of getting an epidural.
Still pooping. I remember her moving, shuffling me over. I was like, I have to go to the washroom first. I went to the washroom first. And then I went in. And what do you know? Kaia came out very quickly after that. No time for the epidural. Lots of pain. Like, I remember thinking, this is the worst experience of my life.
My God, I can't even imagine.
Thank goodness my mom was in there because because my mom had delivered 2 kids, so she's well aware that this is going fabulously. Like Sheridan just only had that 20 minutes outside.
Your mom was so chill.
So my mom's
okay,
up
Matthew,
there
here's some ice.
getting me some cold compresses, smiling, and she's like, and Matt's looking up at my mom like, okay, Cindy's smiling, so this is
your
okay.
mom was like the birth shaman. She was like levitating around the room, just like, hey Matthew, here's a cold compress, and your mom's just like smiling and like
and
just
Matt's
like doing this around there. Just I'm like, man,
bopping.
Oh yeah, I'm over in the corner like,
and you're just
what's happening?
Well, you'd also never experienced me in pain like that, right? So you're over there like, oh my God, is Sheridan gonna be okay? Whereas my mom's like, this is good. This is all great. This is happening. The doctors are coming in. They're checking me. In my head, up until I was pushing,
And
I
that
was
was
literally
Kaia
like,
coming.
and it's funny, it's her birthday in 2 days. But in my head, I was thinking, the anesthesiologist is still gonna come in. I'm still gonna get this epidural. I get lying on the thing, and she's like, well, the anesthesiologist is currently somewhere else doing another one. And I'm like, okay, I'll wait. There was no time to wait. And out came Kaia. But then furthering into the next, labor and delivery, I chose not to get an epidural. And my own personal take on it is I'm glad I did that and I'm glad Kaia went like that. So I was able to learn my body and that I could do that. But all to say, I was on my back with Kaia and I felt very exposed. I didn't like it. Imagine you on your back with your legs spread open. Like it's uncomfortable. Doesn't feel natural. Theo was the same kind of thing. But then when Sage happened, I was uncomfortable on my back. I was uncomfortable on my back and I had like a light bulb go off because I was so much more confident that time delivering Sage that I was like, he's going to come out however I want him to come out. That I'm going to roll over on my side like how I sleep. I'm going to put a pillow in between my legs and I'm going to get comfortable to push through these contractions. And I didn't say a word. I think you thought that I was like hypnotized. I honestly did not say a word as the contractions were happening. I was so in the zone. And then all of a sudden,
crazy.
And then all of a sudden I looked at you and I was like, the baby's coming. And you're like, pardon? Because you were so unprepared. Because I didn't talk about it.
This was round 3.
Right.
So I kind of like knew the routine a little bit.
Right.
And I know with all the other times when you were like, the baby's coming, like the baby was coming.
Right.
Like there was pain, but it was coming. This time when you said the baby's coming, no,
Sage was already out. His head was already out.
He was flying out.
And I actually couldn't stop because you said the nurse came up to you and was like, you need to get her to slow down. I could not. My body physically could not stop a baby coming out. Like he was coming.
Well, and they're all like, what is that shit they're covered in? That like cheesy,
oh yeah, what is that called?
Stuff.
It's not going to come to me right now.
Well, the thing about Sage is like she had to catch him, right?
Right.
Well, I guess they had to catch every one of them, but this was crazy because he came flying out of there so quick that she was kind of like almost fumbling a little bit, and like they're so slippery. Obviously, I mean they're covered in like a waxy kind of
what is that called? It's on the tip of my tongue anyway.
Yeah, it was something.
Yeah,
that was something.
That was something.
Childbirth.
It's the craziest thing. What do you want to talk about now?
My God.
Like what segue is next? Sheesh. That all started off with first time sex versus married with kids sex. So anyway, well, I guess you could further that into our decision to have a third babe. Somebody asked about that.
Someone was asking about having a third baby?
Yeah, like our decision to have one because, I was so set on 2. Were you ever set on a number?
I didn't ever think that I would have my own kids. I thought I would adopt kids, actually. I was like the adoption style guy. And then met you and
well, I think you and your ex had also like toggled between because you had her stepson and then you weren't sure that you guys were ever going to have a child together, and obviously you thought she was your forever person, so you in your mind mentally thought that you guys wouldn't have kids together.
Yeah, I mean I don't really think I was dead set on any number or anything. I feel very fortunate for each and every one of them, but I think that something that kind of scared me a little bit about it was that 3's generally a crowd. Like if there's 3 people hanging out, it's almost like 2 of them have like a better vibe going, and there's like a third wheel kind of a thing.
Well, that even happens with friends. Like
yeah, I'm referring to friends. Okay. Yeah, and so I mean, I was a little bit worried about that, and I mean, so there's a few things actually. I mean, I was really worried about even having 2 because I don't know. I just that because I loved Kaia so much. I was just like, I really didn't think that I could love another child the way that I loved Kaia.
Yeah.
And it was your mom that said, don't worry, Matthew, your heart just gets bigger. Because I was like, there's no more love to give. And then your mom, I'll never forget, said, Matthew, don't worry, your heart will just get bigger.
I think that's so common with people that have their first child. I've heard that so many times, messages in my DMs, like, how? What happens? I'm like, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Your heart literally just grows and makes more room, and then you love them equally the same. And then, so yeah, we had our 2 kids. We had, like, what do they call that? The $1 million family?
Well, that's what they say.
The boy and the girl kind of thing. We had like a really good thing going on, and then we threw Sage into the mix. And Sage was interesting because we thought it through.
Can we just backtrack a little bit and the $1 million family and the girl and the boy and how when we did, because we did a gender reveal for both Kaia and Theo. And when we found out that Theo was a boy, you were disappointed.
I was.
And I just want to say that it's totally normal. I think people feel really guilty when they have gender disappointment. But I think that no matter what, you're going to have a little bit of gender disappointment if you don't know what you're having, because at least for me, I visualized a life with 2 girls or a life with a girl and a boy. And then whatever one it's not,
yes.
you mourn the loss of whatever you had in your head just a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
I think so too. And I think, like, I guess what I wanted to say and really, like, you know, make my point valid for other people is that gender disappointment is okay, because I think people feel really guilty because, of course, they're...
Oh, I felt like shit about it.
Right.
Couldn't believe it. And it lasted a while. It was like a week and a bit. I was just like, I can't believe we're having a boy. I really wanted 2 girls.
Right.
Again, happy with whatever comes, but I was just like... I had envisioned just 2 little girls. And then after we had Kaia, I was like, all I can make is girls. That's kind of what I was thinking in my head. I was like, I'm a girl guy kind of thing. And Jeff had girls and stuff. And it seemed like it was almost like there was something in the water.
Yeah, there was
like
a lot of girls.
Everybody was making girls at the time.
Yes.
And then it was boom, the blue balloons came out and it was like, oh shit, we're having a boy.
Yeah.
And then with Sage, we left it as a surprise. But the interesting thing about Sage is he was the child that we thought through the most.
Yeah, so
we
Kaia
contemplated it a lot.
So Kaia and Theo are 19, 20 months apart.
19, yeah.
And so it shows that we thought about it, because now Sage is 3.5 years younger than Theo and 5 years almost to the day with Kaia.
Yeah.
Right? So we thought that one through a lot. And I personally thought it through because... I have my brother, and that's what I was familiar with, and we had a great childhood. So in my mind, I was thinking, this is perfect. They have each other. That's great. And I'm not going to deny that with adding Sage into the mix, it has created a whole new dynamic that has maybe in a way made it a little bit harder, but also in a way made it even better, you know? Because now everyone, because you're right, 3 is a crowd, and you're also outnumbered even more as a parent, right?
Yeah.
If you go to a place with 3 children, it's like, holy moly, you do not have enough hands, feet, whatever. And anyway, so I think that it's been more difficult in a sense, but also really cool to see the dynamic they have. And I think because Kaia's the oldest and she's a girl and she's like pretty cool with doing her own thing, and I find that her and Theo have their own relationship. I find that Theo and Sage have their own relationship, and I find that Kaia and Sage have their own relationship.
Kaia's like his mom.
Yeah.
She takes this weird motherly instinct with him. Not weird, but just unexpected.
I don't think it's that unexpected. Like, maternal instincts come, but she really takes it to a whole other level.
I mean, like last night when I was brushing Sage's teeth, Kaia was up on the counter going, like, she knew that I had trouble with him the night before, so Kaia climbed up on the counter, didn't ask her to do it. She climbs up there and goes, Sagey, show me your teeth. Show me your teeth, Sagey. Good boy. And, like, helping me brush his teeth. Kaia, man.
Yesterday.
God, she's awesome.
Yeah. Yesterday when we were actually out having over at Kamiko and Scott's, I heard her say something to one of the kids. I forget what it was, but I was listening to them over on the trampoline, and she goes, pay attention to what you say, guys, because you don't want to be hurting other feelings. Let's just all be really kind.
She's incredible.
Yeah, she really is. So that role makes sense for her up as the oldest. I also don't want her to look back on life and be resentful that she takes on that maternal role, even though I've said to her, stop. But anyway, so for us, for 3, our decision to have Sage was just kind of a let's just try. I don't think we really, like, yes, in a way we did overthink it because it lasted so long that we just weren't sure. But I think we always kind of knew that it was going to happen. I think.
We definitely did.
Yeah.
Did you not remember it? We knew it was going to happen. It was just it was almost like...
I almost don't remember it.
Oh, I remember it perfectly. We knew we were having a third, 100%.
Yeah.
We knew it for years and years. We knew we were having a third. It was just like... it was almost like
so
this
do
weird
you
thing
feel like we're going to have a 4th? Oh my God, he paused, you guys. He stalled.
No, I'll tell you straight up. I mean, it's a really weird thing because I don't think we will have a fourth. I really don't. But then I feel sad that we're never going to hold a baby again. Our own baby again. Man, God, we make beautiful children, and just like the whole experience. It probably, there's probably some people that listen to this and be hurt because I know we have a lot of friends that have had hard times having children lately, but like the experience of having a newborn is just, I don't know, it's crazy. It's a crazy feeling.
It really is.
That like there's nothing else like it.
Yeah.
Nothing. I don't think there's another joy in the world that's like that. I mean, you could win $100 million and it wouldn't be the same feeling as holding your child for the first time. Like so Sage, because he's the freshest one. I mean, I remember Sage is coming out and like, even after 3 times of doing it, it's still like getting hit by lightning. I remember Wade said that one day before we had Kaia. I was like, Wade, like, what's it all about, man? Like, what's it going to be like? And he goes, brother, it's like getting hit by lightning. And that's the way, I tell that to people all the time, like in the delivery room, when it happens and you see them take that first breath, and it's like, hey, yes. It's like
life.
This feeling that you can't describe to people. It's like this bolt of energy, and your whole purpose and everything changes. In that drop of a dime, your whole life has changed forever. The course of your trajectory in your life has just changed forever.
Yeah.
In a split millisecond. I don't know. It's just the craziest thing.
So I think that will never happen again is really sad for us.
It is.
Yeah.
But we just have such a good thing going right now.
But we said that about Kai and Theo too.
I mean, now you try to sway. I don't know. We just have such a good thing going. Like our little and I know if let's just say hypothetically that a fourth came along, the family would be just as perfect,
right,
if not more. It would be amazing and all that stuff. But like, we just got like a really good thing going right now.
Well,
and I feel
I think
really
too.
Fortunate.
Yeah, and I mean also for us, Sage is now at the age where like he's getting older, so we're kind of getting back to, especially me, obviously. I find the first 2 years are wild as a new mom and a new dad, and then you kind of hit this peak and you sort of like are able to change a little bit and not worry so much about the kids. Like that first year even, or the 4th trimester, which would be like right after you deliver, is crazy and exhausting and beautiful, but like a lot. And so I think when you come out of that, you're like, oh man, I'm feeling good again. Do I really want to do that all over again? At least that's how I felt. I know some people love the newborn stage, but for me, and I did love it, as we're talking about it right now, how special it was, but it's also like all encompassing, right? So, the idea of having to go through all of that again when you kind of have your family growing up and you're good, is kind of
it's so hard. It's such a hard thing.
I know, because
we're getting our lives back. Right. Like you feel like yourself again. You're feeling more like Sharon, and even for me, I mean, it's a lot leaving you with 3 kids by yourself. But I mean, like I can go and do things. Like I just feel like I have a little bit of my personal freedom back. Yep. If I wanted to go to New York or something right now and take a little trip, it's like you'd be okay with that. I mean, like it's not a newborn baby. Mm-hmm. So there's that. I know that I have that time back to myself again. We've gotten through that first phase, but then on the other hand, I'm just like, you miss last weekend in Chester, just going swimming with Theo and just like seeing that excitement in his eyes every time I jump in the water and stuff. Like you only have so many years of that. Mm-hmm. They say there's about 4 or 5 years where there's like magic in their eyes. You know what I mean? Before the world has kind of sucked the life out. That's the wrong word, but like before, you know what I mean? There's so much wonder in a 3-year-old's eyes.
Right? Yes.
They look at
so
the world
innocent.
like everything's new. Like if Sage went on a boat right now, it'd be like his first boat ride. And he'd be like freaking out.
Wow.
And everything's new to him.
Yeah.
He sees a helicopter go by and he's losing his mind. And then Sage is getting to that point now where like another year or two he's going to start. Like, I don't even have to look up the airplanes anymore. It's not even cool anymore.
I know.
And just thinking that we're not going to get to experience that magical feeling of watching your children see the world as the magical place that it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I totally know what you mean.
I miss that.
I know. Yeah. So,
Yeah. We're going to get it on anyway. I feel like it's time.
Today's the day. I just want to...
What are you thinking, babe? Should we keep rambling? What you got over there?
Well, I really have to go to the bathroom, and then I never know the time and what we're at. So I just drank a big coffee on this show, and me and coffee. What did you just look at?
Well, I have a whole list of stuff. I mean,
Is there anything you want to talk about?
no. I mean, it's all kind. I mean, God, we talk forever.
We've said so many times we're going to talk about dirty little secrets, and I know at the end of the episode we're like, oh yeah, and we'll chat about dirty little secrets next episode. I've thought about it. My dirty little secrets is like my pride and joy. I've been doing them for so long. I love that it is a safe space. So for anybody that's listening that hasn't seen my dirty little secrets, basically on my Instagram page, I ask people to just lay it all out. Whatever they want to get off their chest, do it. I am here. Everybody knows at this point that when you write that into me, I can technically see who you are, right? And there's a lot of things that are sent that are just absolutely sharing their truth. And I love that they feel comfortable enough to do that with me. And I do want to talk about some of the dirty little secrets. And
We absolutely are.
Right.
But bring one up right now. Let's laugh.
I can't just bring it up.
Ugh.
It's too much work for me to go through my archives. But I did just want to preface this by saying that, it's important for me, for us to like, the whole point of that is to not feel judged. Like, somebody wrote to me after and they're like,
give me a break. Give me a break.
Matt, watch what you're saying, because then people aren't going to write in my dirty little secrets.
For sure. I mean, your dirty little secrets, but I mean, they're putting it out there to 65,000 people to read. They obviously want people to acknowledge it, but be secretive about it.
Of course. And there's a lot
Otherwise,
of
you wouldn't put it on the internet.
There's a lot of really funny ones that we can definitely go into and digest and stuff.
Sure,
but then, of course,
don't you ruin my dirty little secrets.
Yeah, don't fucking ruin
I'm not going to ruin your dirty little secrets.
Yeah, but give me a break. Like, dirty little secrets.
No, but look, we got to keep it. It went out to 65,000 people and then was shared by each of them to other people. It's like, probably about 200,000 people knows that you touched a guy's date last night that you weren't married to. Like,
what I was gonna say though is that it's a judgment-free zone. I'm just putting them out there, and then people are doing whatever. I'm not going through everyone and being like, "Oh wow."
Well, neither of us are judgmental people.
But that's the whole point of what I'm trying to say is when we're talking about them, it's our duty to not make them feel judged.
Yeah, obviously.
That's all I'm getting at. So I think next episode it is titled "Dirty Little Secrets."
Yeah,
and
let's
I'm
do
gonna
it.
go because there's a whole bunch, and I'll go through them, and we'll pick some out, and we'll just get into it.
I think, it'll be a freaking awesome episode.
It'll be fun.
We keep talking about doing it. I'm not gonna sit over here and be like, "What?
Yeah.
You whore!" Like no. I mean, we'll kind of laugh about things and talk about things. And there's gonna be some of them that are like, might end up crying. Who knows? I mean, there's so much stuff in there.
So much stuff.
Yeah.
So much stuff.
There's a lot of good stuff. I mean, everyone's reading them, and it's so funny. It's like the most unexpected people are obsessed with them.
When I talk to people and they're like, it's who I would least expect, and they're like, and I go through every single one. I'm like, you do?
Yeah.
And I love that because it just goes to show that most at the end of it all, almost all my messages are, thank you for making me feel less alone. I feel a whole lot more normal when I'm reading that everybody is going through this kind of stuff, right? So we'll have fun with that. Let's end it off by you telling me something that annoys you about me. What's the first thing that came to mind when I said that?
I've already told the story on here before. It was the thing about the you going to bed is the most annoying thing in the world.
Me going to bed?
Oh my God. Dealing with you in a bedroom is so annoying. Like,
I thought you meant just me going to bed early. You mean the way that I sleep.
Oh my God. Just everything about like how perfectly organized. It's so annoying. Like the fact that I can't move the sheets and blankets around how I want on my half of the bed is so annoying. Like for a long time, I slept in a separate room, and I got really used to it. I just having my own thing.
Well, you know what? Let's just circle in on that because I also find it so annoying when because we have a TV in our room, and so I say to Matt, like, he'll want to work on his computer and watch a movie, and he has the movie on, and I hate scary movies, and Matt's like just decides to throw on a scary movie as loud as he can while I'm trying to sleep.
As loud as I can. Give me a break.
Well, you have hearing problems. Like Matt, we joke about it, and then he gets
big
offended.
Subs in the truck.
But like you have a hard time hearing.
You're a low talker.
No, but when you're watching something on YouTube and you ask me to watch it, you have it at full volume, and I'm like, turn it down, bro. Like, you definitely.
I think you have like hypersonic hearing or something.
No.
It's you.
You absolutely need to go get that checked out. But
Didn't your mom say you're a low talker? Or your dad? One of them.
that
did.
doesn't matter.
You're a low talker.
No. Anyways, even Kaia will come and listen, and she's like, Dad, turn it down. Like, whatever. So I'll simply say to Matt, like, could you put in your AirPods, please? And you're like, ugh. And I'm like, is it that hard for you to just throw in your AirPods to watch your movie? Apparently it is. You'd rather just not have them in while I'm.
Is that your thing that you're going to flip back on me, or
did
you just get two in there?
That is that is very annoying.
What's the first thing that comes to your mind? Because she's
know.
going through the Rolodex.
I'm trying to think of like the first thing that comes to my mind.
Or is there nothing? Am I perfect?
Yeah.
Am I perfect?
I don't know. I can't think.
Oh my God! At least something. You can't ask the question and not say it. Or are they all too hardcore?
Yeah, it's for another episode.
You don't have anything.
Of course, I have things that annoy me.
I'm perfect.
About you.
What?
I don't know.
Stop playing footsies when you're about to diss me there.
I actually don't know off the top of my head.
What?
I don't know. What? I'm sure you can think of something for me that annoys me about you.
I don't know.
Well, I do find it annoying when you always tell me to just get over my funk. That really fucking pisses me off. Like, you'll be sitting there and
oh my, come so guns blazing.
No, but and you just tell me to like move along or get over it. Like, one thing about you that I have a hard time with is, like, let's say we're driving.
Too happy?
No, let's say we're driving and you do something that like, or you say something, or you go on a rant, or you're like upset about something. Yeah. And then you make me pissed off about it because like I hone in on your vibes and I'm like, wow, now I'm in a really bad mood. And then 2 minutes later, you're like, so and I'll jolly, and I'm like, excuse me, weren't we just in a horrible mood after what you just said? And then you want me to flip it so quickly, and I can't do that, and that really pisses me off. So like, keep your thoughts.
Like,
to
that's
yourself.
your thing?
Well, that's the first thing that came to my mind.
Okay, top of mind.
But it's true, and I've said it to you before. Like, you'll be going ham, talking about something, going off some rant, and then you just expect me to, like, not take that in, to just, like, let it, fly off of whatever. What's the word I'm trying to say here? Just bounce off of me and not take it too seriously. But, of course, now I'm into it and into the mood and whatever you just said to me. And then you want me to turn around and be just so joyful and happy as can be. Stop staring at me.
You're so
like
cute. I'm just really taking in all your beauty right now.
Okay,
While
subscribe.
you're kind of like being angry at me a little bit. Turns me on a little.
It is exciting that now we're getting ad revenue. I don't know how it works, but I clicked on an episode the other day and I was like, why is there an ad before our episode? And you're like, this is how it happened, Sheridan. So thank you for continuing to
Tell
watch.
everyone how much money we've made so far.
I did last episode. It was 24 cents. Now we're up to $1.14. This is so exciting.
It's $1.43.
This is great.
I don't know. I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, so just thank you for continuing to watch with the ads and listening and stuff. It means obviously a lot to us. This is very exciting to finally see that it's being monetized. So thank you for that.
This is my second YouTube channel, and my other one I can't monetize yet because there isn't enough engagement and stuff on it yet. And I don't know. I always wanted to see what would happen if you had a YouTube channel monetized, and we're seeing it. And like for anyone that's wondering, because people wonder about YouTubers, they're like, what? Like,
how do they
that
make
little
money?
Ryan guy on YouTube that makes $15 million a year on YouTube. So if anyone's wondering like how quick it gets popping off, our bomb ass show made $1.43. You got to start somewhere.
Now that I've seen the ad revenue and like how you can make money and stuff, it makes so much sense that these people are making so much money, especially on the kids side of things, because kids get obsessed with certain videos and they just want to watch them every single day over and over and over and over and over. Like,
it's the smartest thing.
Our podcast people aren't going to rewatch over and over and over, but those videos, like, it's crazy. Even when I put on like ocean sounds for the kids to sleep, that person with the ocean sounds has like 20 million views, and every time somebody clicks the ad and goes through it, they're making money off of that. It's crazy.
Oh yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, you need to get, like, if you really wanted to like turn it into something like a fast growing thing, I mean, you got to like target children or like those things,
just like random things. Yeah.
So but I mean, we get good engagement over on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and stuff. So yeah, I mean, for everyone that is listening right now, we appreciate it. It's super cool that
it is,
that this show resonates with people. I think it's so neat.
Me too. Okay, goodbye.
Like, I feel like we've
Love you
always had a
guys.
voice, but never really
Yeah,
had
I'm
an
just
outlet.
cutting you off. Goodbye.
Yeah, you guys are the best. Hit like, hit subscribe, all that good shit, and yeah.
Matt's putting
Love
in the, Matt's
yas.
putting in the buttons here. Like, subscribe.
Okay, see you next one.
It's the Two Gems Podcast.